Good morning and welcome to another fresh edition of your breakfast show, Leadership Television Inside Nigeria. My name is Winifred Gbebo. I want to sincerely apologize for not bringing the program yesterday. We experienced some technical glitches. But however, we are starting off today, Tuesday, 25 February 2025. And of course, we have an array of newspapers for review this morning, including Nigeria's most influential leadership. As we normally do on the program, let's see what leadership is offering on its menu this Tuesday. Let's go there. Leadership's leading story says NEC meeting, APC begins pushback against opposition coalition. NEC meeting, APC begins pushback against opposition coalition. And the riders consolidates base, decides on congresses. Targets Anambra governorship seat. NNPP suspends senator fraternizing with Ganduje Barau. Leading story today on Leadership newspaper. And of course, let's see what other stories are on the cover of Leadership. Again, multi-choice increases subscription rates for DSTV, GoTV. Rekete Radio's Ahmed Issa to honor Senate invitation. The story runs on page 16 of Leadership. 9 die, others injured in Lagos Ibadan road clash. Banjo for burial May 3. And towards the masthead of Leadership, tax reform bills. Northern leaders submit views to National Assembly. And on the business boss of Leadership, fuel scarcity looms as marketers threaten nationwide strike. Give federal government 7-day ultimatum. Fuel scarcity looms as marketers threaten nationwide strike. Give federal government 7-day ultimatum. Let's see snippets of that story, which continues on the cover. And nationwide fuel scarcity may be in the offing as the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, has issued a 7-day ultimatum to the federal government to settle outstanding bridging claims amounting to 100 billion naira. In a communique issued by the IPMAN on Monday, the depot chairman of forum of the association accused the NDMPRA of ignoring their demands despite promises made during a stakeholders meeting over 1 year ago. The 1-week ultimatum was announced by Yahya Ahassan, chairman of the IPMAN Depot Chairman Forum, during a press conference in Abuja. The continuation of that story runs on page 7 of Leadership. And let's move, with that, we move to the stories above the masthead. Tinubu didn't want me in his cabinet, coming from the former governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir El-Rufai. Is also the leading story, is some of the papers we have on our menu this Tuesday. Ayedati was sworn in as 7th Ondo governor. The story is on page 17 of Leadership. With that, we move to the page 3 of the paper where we have our stand. Today's stand is on prioritize governance over 2027 ambitions. Today's stand on Leadership. Prioritize governance over 2027 ambitions. Of course, the politics is already heating up for 2027 election. And today's stand is saying prioritize governance because there's still 2 years ahead of 2027. And from our stand, we move to the back page of the paper where we have Tuesday column with Abdurrauf Aliyu. Aliyu is writing today on IBB, power, faith, and necessity. IBB, power, faith, and necessity. Of course, the IBB's memos is still generating knocks and kudos over his role in the nation's governance. In quote, it says IBB does not shy away from discussing defining moments of his tenure. Quote from today's Tuesday column: IBB, power, faith, and necessity. From that Tuesday column, we move to Ghana must go. Akpabio says the Senate president, more than 30% of Nigerians don't pay tax. And guess what Ghana must go replied? And less than 5% still the tax. Very, very funny. Of course, continuation of this back page, continuation of headline stories, the editorial as stand today, and inside stories. Don't forget to log on to Leadership's website, www.leadership.ng, for more of that. Is on that note, we move to the next paper we have on our menu, and that is THISDAY newspaper. THISDAY says, El-Rufai, Tinubu, not National Assembly, rejected my nomination as minister. Leading story today on THISDAY newspaper. Let's see what the story is talking about. Of course, there are so many kickers underneath it. He says there is anger in North. Nobody from the region will vote the president today. One so-called security report on him released hints he might leave APC, insists party has left him. Pledges never to defect to PDP, but any other party remains an option. Governor Sani Uba, Nuhu Ribadu no longer my friends, ex-minister affirms. Alleges Ribadu trying to eliminate all opposition to his 2031 presidential ambition. Ribadu responds, I have never discussed running for president in 2031. My focus is on Nigeria and President Tinubu. Rain or mockery to ex-Kaduna governor. You failed screening woefully. You were diplomatic liability. These are riders to the leading story today on El-Rufai. Tinubu, North National Assembly rejected my nomination as minister. And of course, the story runs on page 9 of THISDAY. Atop that, oil marketers threaten strike, give federal government 7 days to offset 100 billion naira debt. Say many depot in North already grounded over mounting indebtedness. Decry 5% levy imposed on its members by NMDPRA. Also, at second leading story there on this day newspaper this Tuesday. Oil marketers threaten strike, give federal government 7 days to offset 100 billion naira debt. Is also another leading story on this day on leadership in the paper before it. And atop the masthead of this day, Saudi agriculture company to acquire 44.58% stake in Olam Agri for $1.78 billion. Emefiele accuses judge of bias, unjust handling of questions in ongoing trial. And of course, the story has it that he actually asked the judge to recuse himself from the case. That also concludes the review of front headline stories on this day newspaper this Tuesday. Don't forget to log on to the website for continuation of these headline stories. And we are still on El-Rufai's trending story. Let's move over to the Punch. Punch also has similar leading story as its main cover. It says 2027 APC berates El-Rufai for attack on Tinubu Ribadu. Ex-governor force president's economic team appointment hints at defection. El-Rufai is a grudging man. His support for Tinubu means nothing. APC. These are riders to that leading story on the Punch. 2027 APC berates El-Rufai for attack on Tinubu Ribadu. Ex-governor Ford's president's economic team appointment hints at defection. El-Rufai is a grudging man. His support for Tinubu means nothing, says APC in reply. And let's move down. We have Ayeditiwa begins new term. Pasoranti's son, others get cabinet appointments. We also have the picture of the governor there with his wife being given the certificate, being sworn in as Ondo State governor yesterday. Congratulations to the lucky governor. Ayedatiwa begins new term. Pasoranti's son, others get cabinet appointments. Beneath that, we have Kano NNPP National Assembly members attack Kwankwaso, reject suspension. $4.5 billion fraud. Emefiele alleges bias, demands judges withdrawal. Sokoto plans for 285 million naira Ramadan support for Ulamas groups. The story is on page 28 of the Punch. Sokoto plans 285 million naira Ramadan support for Ulamas groups. With that, we move to the story beside the masthead of the Punch. Tax reform. Senate asks federal government states to firm up agreement. And above the masthead of the Punch, Lagos Assembly Speaker Miranda may step down as Akande panel shortly 7. IBB's book Don't Tarnish Braithwaite's Name, Family Wants Obasanjo. IBB's book Don't Tarnish Braithwaite's Name, Family Wants Obasanjo. Filling stations short, loading halted as Lagos impounds tankers. The story is on page 20 of the Punch newspaper. And don't forget to log in to the website for continuation of these leading stories and inside stories. From the Punch, we move to the next paper we have on the menu, and that is Vanguard. Vanguard is on the tax evasion brouhaha coming from the Senate president, and of course the NLC, TUC, NECA battled Akpabio over comments. Only 30% of Nigerians pay tax, yet want the best from government. That was the statement credited to Akpabio. says tax reform, future of Nigeria. People evade tax where government is unaccountable. NLC fires back. Name Nigerians evading tax payments. TUC challenges Akpabio. Blame government for evasion of tax payment. NECA. Give me workable laws from tax reform bills. Tinubu tells Senate. I'll take that once again. Tax evasion, NLC, TUC, NECA battle Akpabio over comments. Only 30% of Nigerians pay tax, yet want the best from government. Akpabio says tax reform, future of Nigeria, and LLC fires back. People evade tax where government is unaccountable. Name Nigerians evading tax payment. TUC challenges Akpabio. Blame government for invasion of tax payment. NECA. Give me workable laws from tax reform bills. Tinubu tells Senate. Still on Vanguard newspaper, PDP crisis, court orders INEC to stay action. Action on Anyanwu's sack. The story continues on page 8 of Vanguard. PDP crisis, court orders INEC to stay action on Anyanwu's sack. Kano APC chairmanship, minister threatens to resign, dump party if, of course, you want to find out what that if means. The story continues on page 25 of Vanguard. Kano APC chairmanship, minister threatens to resign, dump party if. Still on Vanguard, ACF right Nance opposes VAT hike. This story is on page 25 of Vanguard. And now we're talking sports. 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Dele Bashiru's relief for Chell as test confirmed brief injury timeline. With that, we move to the masthead of Vanguard, where we have Naira hit 7 months high, appreciates to 1,500 Naira per dollar in parallel markets. IBB says why Nigeria suffered 5 military coup. That is in his book. Wet season, farmers predict high food prices this year. Tinubu not Nance blocked my ministerial appointments, coming from former Governor El-Rufai. With that, we conclude review of front headline stories on Vanguard this Tuesday. Don't forget to log on to the website of Vanguard for continuation of these headline stories. From Vanguard, we move to the next paper and incidentally our last paper for review on this Tuesday edition of Inside Nigeria. So we have The Guardian. The Guardian says prison decongestion, 53,225 pre-trial detainees languish in jail despite push to pardon politicians, in quote. Prison decongestion, 53,225 pre-trial detainees languish in jail despite push to pardon politicians, in quote. And of course, as usual, The Guardian has illustration for that leading story. It says 80,066 persons in detention nationwide. Only 34% or 26,841 have been convicted and serving jail terms. 53,225 or 66% are pre-trial detainees. At 1,125 naira per inmate daily, federal government will spend 21.8 billion naira to feed pre-trial inmates in 2025. 4,000 pre-trial detainees have been pardoned to date. 4,000 pre-trial detainees have been pardoned to date. Awaiting trial, we have awaiting trial, Port Harcourt 1,810, Enugu 2,290, Kuje 768, Suleja 190, Lagos 6,629. These are pre-trial cases. Those are awaiting trial in various cities and states of the country. We have Port Harcourt 1,810, Enugu 2,290, Kuje 768, Suleja 190, Lagos 6,629 cases. These are illustrations beneath the leading story today on the Guardian newspaper. Prison decongestion, 53,225 pre-trial detainees languish in jail despite push to pardon politicians, in quote. Still on the Guardian, underneath that we have El-Rufai threatens to dump APC over lack of internal democracy, rules out PDP move. The story runs on page 6 of the Guardian. Tinubu considers committee for fresh census. Tinubu tax National Assembly unworkable tax law. Drug abuse, 1 million of Northwest 3 million addicts in Kano. drug abuse, 1 million of Northwest, 3 million addicts in Kano. In other words, the Northwest has an incidence rate of 3 million drug addicts, while out of that 3 million from Northwest, 1 million reside in Kano, or 1 million are from Kano. Abia, Rivers, Zamfara, Kano, 11 others lack female lawmakers. Abia, Rivers, Zamfara, Kano, 11 others, that is 11 other states lack female lawmakers. So what it means is that 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 15 states out of 36 states of the Federation does not have any female lawmaker. Ayedatiwa takes oath of office, pardons 43 inmates at inauguration. With that, we move to the stories just beneath the masthead of The Guardian. 400,000 naira per truck. Maritime transporters threaten strike over extortion in Lagos. Native doctors protest alleged witch hunt by Soludo's administration. NNPP suspends 7 Kano senator, 3 reps. NNPP suspends 7 Kano senator, 3 reps. With that, we conclude review of front headline stories on The Guardian this Tuesday. Don't forget to log on to the website of The Guardian for continuation of these headline stories and inside stories, www.theguardian.ng. So with that, we also conclude, bring to an